Welcome to my daily review. Today is Wednesday, August 27th. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which continues its, melt up, slow melt up, and it was up 46 points today, or 0.21%. You can see the volume is 11% below the average 50-day average volume. It closed at 21,590. Still below that high of 21,803 on August 13th. So it had this dip below the 21, and then last Friday had this nice thrust day of 1.88%. And then now this week, grinding higher once again. I think it's up about, yeah, almost 100 points for the week, 0.44%. Just a slow grind higher. Today, all eyes were on Nvidia, and people were waiting for the Nvidia earnings. I'm just going to go through some of last night, this morning's earnings, and some themes, and then tonight's earnings calls, and this short little recap of today's action. I've got to start with MongoDB. I saw in pre-market had quite a bit of volume, and it was up like 28, 29%. And I figured it'd have a strong day, and it certainly did. It was up 38%. Now it's pressing that old 300 number, and we'll see if it can blast through there. But that is a move not to be ignored. A power earnings gap for sure. Yeah, nice move. And it looks like it wants to break out of like a stage four decline out of a stage one base and into a stage two ascending type of pattern. All right. So that was MDB. Okta had a good report, not quite the same response, up 1.1.5%. Having a little trouble with that 200 number. PLAB, Photronics reported, had a nice day, up 7.5%, trying to break out once again, looking at the weekly chart, trying to break out of this stage one base here. If you follow Weinstein, you got your stage one, and then you got your stage two where it's an ascent, then you got a big, stage three, and now stage four decline. And after the stage four decline, it has this like stage one base, and it's emerging out of the stage one base into a stage two, what would be an advance or ascending pattern. All right. Enough of that. So I have MDB, I have Okta. Oh, Box reported last night and had a decent response, up 4%. But you can see this has been beat up pretty badly, as a lot of the software names have. Encino's financial software name. Nice pop here, 14%. That would be a power earnings gap above the moving averages. That looks pretty good, above 31.48. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, these software names have just been brutalized. And there you can see it's trying to emerge into a stage two advanced phase. So we'll see what happens with Encino, but that looks pretty good. This morning we had some retail names report. We had mixed reviews here. One was Kohl's, which had a nice 24% jump, a move not to be ignored. And then we had the other side was Abercrombie and Fitch, which was so-so sales here. We're seeing single digit, 9, 8, 7% sales, which isn't going to get too many investors excited. So this one's still in stage one. It's not in a stage four decline. It's in a stage one base, but it doesn't look like it's going to emerge into a stage two after that report last night. And then Williams Sonoma, the CEO, said the economy is slowing, not stalled, completely stalled, but slowing. And obviously, they have the furniture tariffs that they have to deal with now. So, yeah, I was surprised, about Williams Sonoma Furniture, second to IKEA in regards to importing furniture from overseas. So, yeah, CEO was not too sanguine, I would say. Only down 3% though, not too bad. All right, that's it for last night and this morning's earnings that I want to discuss. A couple names that I have to mention here, the bank names, the big banks, and this is pattern here that's pretty consistent here with them. Made a high, then it sold off, pulled back, undercut the 21, and now they're back near the old highs. And I'm thinking Goldman Sachs 750 looks pretty good. Citigroup looks the same thing, right? Like these triple top patterns here. Makes a high, pulls back, comes right back up to that 96 level, pulls back under the 21, now right back to 96. Yeah, I like this thing maybe above 96, 91, call it a dime more, $97. And these ones are looking pretty good. The big banks, right? The big financial institutions, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup. Who else do we have here? JP Morgan. This one looks pretty similar here, 296. Got that box. Well, I'd call it, above 30 301.29. This thing's go time 301.50. You can see after hours it's up quite a bit. I don't know what's going on there. A couple of Canadian banks showing strength. This one popped 5% today. Royal Bank of Canada, very strong move. This thing has been a really strong bank. That ticker symbol is RY. And the other one is CM, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, I guess. Let me see. CM is a ticker symbol, and it's Toronto based, I guess. Okay, I got a new COO, and just super strong, right? Broke out of the base, and now it's just surfing the moving averages. Made a new high today, and that one popped out of an old flat base there, so up 2%. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, banks are looking good. The big banks. So I'm going to move on from the banks. Going to go to some retail names. Dillard's, man, making new highs today. They reported, I don't know, last week or the week before, and a super strong name here, just bouncing off the five. So it's good to see some of these retailers showing some strength. A lot of them have been beaten up badly. This is Five Below, a discount retailer. This one should have been on the ready list, really. 143.88. So it's right there. 141, trying to break out of that pattern there. These things are up after hours. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to find out. I'll have more in the morning. Goose. This is a company, Canada Goose, that was, you got to watch out for these Canadian companies because they have, the tariffs are pretty heavy there. But this one is, I guess there was discussions, chatter about them being taken private, and it was up 16% today. So a nice move for the Goose. And a couple of cosmetics or beauty plays. One is Ulta Beauty, 534.10, looks pretty good. You can see on the weekly it just recently broke out of this cup with handle. This is, a long time coming here, a big base, big deep base. And from this is like a year and a half, right? From March of 24, and now it's just starting to move higher recently. That's Ulta Beauty. And then Elf. Elf is looking pretty darn good too here. Double bottom base pattern here. And right there, that 124.31 buy point. So there's a couple of stocks here that I'm showing you this afternoon that should probably be on our ready list for tomorrow. Anyway, that's it for the retail names, I believe. Yeah. I'm not going to go through all the beaten down ones, and there's a lot of them. Drug names still hanging tough, doing well. This is INSM. Wow, it's 134.53 now. We were fooling around with this one back by 100. But anyway, I think I sold it about 120, and I should have held on to it. But anyway, that one looks very good. ACAD, this is Baker Brothers. Got a big stake in this one. And they're pretty successful biotech investors. This one you can see recently broke out of a stage two base and is trending higher, 3.3% this week, and getting extended from that five. Pulled back to the five, and then now it's breaking out. That's a super strong stock. Kelly Slater surfing to five. INBX, real thin biotech name. You could see 118,000 shares traded, but big move today, making new highs. So, only price pays, as our friend Brian Shannon likes to say. SUPN is another one, had this big breakout day of 13%. This is why we do not ignore those power earnings moves, right? And now it's these gappers, and now it's just surfing the five today. Popped nicely. That one looks good. RNA, another one, up again. It was 26% move, pull back to its moving average, and now just trying to surf the average higher. That thing curled down, and now it's curled back up. So RNA, nice looking stocks. PTGX, another biotech name, breaking out of this base here, up 8% today. You can see this cup with kind of an elongated handle, and yeah, making moves higher, making a new high today. So PTGX looks good as well. And then some of the robotic plays, quietly, some of these smaller companies popping on up with volume here. This is SERV Robotics up 13%. What was the other one? Oh, RR. This is Richfield Robotics breaking out of a base here, making a nice move. They had news with Nvidia a couple days ago. You can see the big volume here. And if we look at the weekly, yeah, it's a nice little breakout for out of a stage one base. For this one, it's up yeah, 58% this week. Not bad for 3 days of work. And then XMTR, this one we had on our power earnings gap list from a few weeks ago when it popped 43% August 5th, pulled back to the five, ripped up, pulled back to the five, ripped up, and that's just surfing the five. So that one looks good. Exometry, XMTR is the ticker symbol. That's it for me for today. Kind of a quiet day. Everybody's waiting on Nvidia, so in honor of the great Steve Jobs, one more thing is I'm going to get to some of tonight's earnings reports. I'm going to start with the good stuff. Snowflake, like MDB, strong report. Now it's trying to get back above its moving averages. 229.27 would be the, old, 52-week high that it needs to get over. Let's take a look at Snowflake because this was, yeah, back in 2021, 2020, that was a 2021 is a big monster stock. Sold off, like a lot of the software names did, and now it's reemerging here. And so all those software names that were thought to be left for the dead, they're coming back and reporting strong earnings. So hopefully that'll have a little more pen action than MongoDB. This is a 67 billion market cap company. So we'll see how software goes tomorrow. VEEV Systems, this is a medical software company. Good report. They beat and they raised guidance. I'm surprised to see it down nearly 4%. We'll see what happens with that tomorrow. Earnings reactions are pretty wild and wonky these days. Um, CrowdStrike, no good. I'd venture to say that CrowdStrike's starting at stage four decline right now. I think you could forget about this one. Had a nice run. Can't, appreciate anymore, and now it's on the decline. You can see tomorrow at 390, it's going to be, trading below its 40-week line or its 200 days. This is a black line there. Yeah, below 400. It's adios muchachos for CrowdStrike. That does not mean that, money from that area will flow into other stocks. I'm watching this one closely to see if it's going to sell off with CrowdStrike tomorrow. Zscaler probably will, and so will Palo Alto Networks. But I'm watching Rubrik. That's the one that I like in this group. Fresh Blood. It's a newer company, CrowdStrike's been around for a while, and it's a highly valued company, high valuation, I should say. So is Rubrik. They're all high valuation companies. Um, but I think Rubrik, if it has the growth, and Wall Street's going to go for the growth, and if it can have accelerated sales growth, you see this 35, 43, 47, 49. Wall Street loves that. They're going to report September 9th, so if they can deliver the goods, I think this one has a chance to trade higher. I don't like the looks on CrowdStrike. And the last one, of course, is Nvidia. All eyes were on Nvidia. Good report. It sold off down to like 172. It's clawed its way back a little bit. They beat, the guidance is people jump to the conclusions. Their sales did not include China, okay, because the US government has been it's a little murky for them to just, declare with certainty of what's going on with China. They don't know, so they just excluded it. So that revenue that they they guided higher, and I think it was for the next quarter 56 billion compared to 48, but they didn't include China. So there's going to be some sales from China. So it really is, a really significant raised guidance for next quarter. Their margins are expanding. They had a $60 billion buyback program. They're going to kill the options premiums here probably tomorrow and keep it below 180. Probably next week it'll be, trending back towards 190. But yeah, very good report from Nvidia. It's trading down, slightly, and it's going to impact stuff like AMD. down. This is silly season here. These are real powerful earnings, and for these stocks to be down on that is kind of silly. Taiwan Semiconductor and yeah, 1% moves. These are nothing burgers. I think they're just going to kill the premium and just going to flatline them the rest of the week. And yeah, we'll see what happens next week. That would be my guess. Anyway, at mcstocktrudge.com, we never give up.